All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back to the channel. Big night last night, huh? UFC and the Tyson Roy Jones fight. So I'm going to go ahead and just touch on the Tyson Roy Jones thing super quick. Then I'm going to talk about the actual point of this video, which is going to be about Jake Paul, Logan Paul. So I'm just going to say this. Tyson looked great. And I mean, really, utterly incredible, given that he's 56 years old. And so did Roy Jones. Roy Jones looked really, really good. I mean, that's a little less surprising given that he was fighting 2 years ago professionally. But like, you know, Tyson trained really hard. Tyson's a good man. Like he's a, you know, he I don't know how closely everybody pays attention to Tyson, but he did DMT and it changed his life, like completely changed his life. And I should actually probably do a full video about that. But bottom line is he looked great. If he wants to fight again, that'd be awesome. Don't put him against the top guys. He's not going to, you know, he's got nothing for Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, he would have run through Anthony Joshua 30 years ago. But anyway, he looked great. All right, so let's talk about Jake Paul though. Okay, so Jake Paul, obviously, he won last night, beat Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is an NBA player, okay? So keep that in mind. Nate Robinson actually looks like he knows how to box. He's throwing a good jab. He just apparently was unclear that that Jake Paul has one strong weapon, which is his dip your head overhand right, because he got hit with that multiple times. Every time he got knocked down or knocked out, he got hit with the same punch. But, you know, that's because he's not a professional boxer, right? But Jake Paul's got a lot of power, obviously. I mean, he knocked an NBA player sleeping unconscious. I mean, there's not much to say there. Like, he has power. He's got a lot of power. He's pretty quick, actually. Like, you know, I mean, not quicker than I expected. Let's just say that, right? A lot of times you get these guys who are not professional athletes. Well, I guess he's actually trying to be a pro boxer or whatever, right? But guys who are like didn't come up the real way. They go out there and they throw hands and it's like, yeah, they look like they train a lot, but they're slow. Like they're, you know, like that's the main difference between like a professional, like a real professional and someone else. You know, anybody can train muscle memory, you know, like anybody can do that. But like to be able to do it quickly, you know, like do it super, super quick, super crisp, not make mistakes, you know. He looked fine. Like he looked fine, right? And he's got a lot of power. He's a very good athlete, obviously. And yeah, I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about him. I don't think that he has some huge future as a professional boxer or anything. But who knows? I mean, who knows? This is not about hating on Jake Paul. But here's what I want to say, right? He called out Conor McGregor, right? He wants Conor McGregor. He said he wanted Dylan Dennis. Now, that fight makes sense because Dylan Dennis is not traditionally a striker. If you get Dylan Dennis to box you, I'll watch it. But calling out Conor McGregor, right? Like, and you got his brother, Logan, calling out Floyd Mayweather, which that fight might actually happen. I just want to make very clear, I'm not on board with these fights. Like, not at all, okay? There are spectacles. There are contests between like elite fighters. There are spectacles, but even spectacles, there has to be a limit to what you are excited for. There has to be, right? And like as an example, the reason why Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather made sense is because Conor was the best of the best at the time in UFC, and he's a striker, right? So there was this like, you know, I mean, obviously, it was going to be a tall order for him to have, you know, a really competitive fight with Floyd Mayweather, which I think he did great, although Floyd stood right in front of him and baited him into that on purpose. But, like, there's a reason why that fight is interesting, right? That makes sense, okay? Conor is a professional fighter and a world-class striker, and he's going to fight Floyd Mayweather in boxing, which is a stand-up discipline fighting. Like, that makes sense. Logan Paul against Floyd Mayweather is a joke, okay? It's a joke. It's a joke. Logan Paul, how big is Logan Paul? 230 pounds? Okay? Logan Paul lost to KSI. Okay? Logan Paul lost to another YouTuber. He's going to fight Floyd Mayweather? Okay, this is like that. Like, okay, people said that the Conor McGregor thing was just a cash grab. I disagree. Like, I think that was the first, you know, like a lot of boxers had gone to MMA and got worked because they didn't know how to wrestle. But like, this was the first time an MMA guy went over to boxing. And boxing's reputation, I mean, boxing as a sport, their reputation was on the line because if Conor would have figured out a way to beat Floyd Mayweather, it invalidates the entire sport of boxing, right? It doesn't make, like, literally would have invalidated the entire sport. But it's interesting, okay? It's interesting for that reason. It's not interesting just because the two guys have a lot of followers on Instagram, right? Like, if Logan Paul, there are a million people Logan Paul can fight without literally insulting the entire sport of boxing or insulting combat sports. Like, there are plenty of people he can fight, right? And the thing, and if he fights Floyd Mayweather, I'll buy it, but I won't like it. I won't like it at all, right? And Jake Paul calling out Conor McGregor is patently insane. I mean, literally, utterly insane. The only reason that the Mayweather-Logan Paul thing might make sense is because Mayweather is literally retired. And he's like, oh, they want to pay me $100 million to come out and fight some Instagram clown? Cool. Okay? I'm still not on board. But Conor McGregor versus Jake Paul, that is patently insane. I mean, Conor's in the prime of his career. Jake Paul's a 23-year-old Instagram star who has a knockout over an NBA player. Okay? Like, if they made that fight, if they made that would be one thing where I would be like, I'm done with Conor. I'm done with him. If he fought Jake, I mean, he's not going to do it, obviously, but I'd be done with him if he did. I'd be like, you have to be fucking kidding me, pal. You're going to fight Jake Paul? Like, come on, bro. He's not going to do it, so it doesn't matter. But I just want to make my feelings on this very clear. I am not down with elite star fighters fighting the Paul brothers, okay? And not because I hate on the Paul brothers, I've nothing but, I'm hoping that they continue to do really well. And I would love to watch them fight more. They're both athletic killing machines. Like, they're fucking tough guys. They're tough guys. I'd love to see Logan Paul fight in MMA, candidly. Just, I don't want to see Jake Paul fight Conor McGregor. I can't get behind that. I am not down with it. I'm not going to get down with it. But Dylan Dennis, that'd be fun. Both those guys are, whatever. But I actually thought Jake Paul handled the fight really well. I think he fought well, and then I think in the press conference how he spoke was really humble and chill. I thought he handled himself well, for a 23-year-old, clown that was in, like BLM riots earlier in the year. Like, I was expecting a lot less from him. So, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to get punched in the face by him, that's for fucking sure. That's for sure. And if you've seen Logan Paul slap that guy and knock him unconscious, you don't want to get hit by fucking Logan Paul either, So, yeah. I don't know. I actually think they might really seriously make this Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul fight, and good God, man. I mean, come on, dude. I hope that Floyd has, like, exhausted every real fight that's in him before he does that. Like, don't fight Logan Paul and then try to come back and fight anyone serious ever again, and I have always been of the opinion that Floyd Mayweather's career is over when he loses, right? Because he's going to rip through his money. He's just going to. And then he's going to be like, oh, I need another fight. He only knows one way to make money. And so he's going to come back and fight, and eventually he'll lose. And good God, if he lost to Logan Paul, that would be, I mean, it would never happen. That would never happen. Logan Paul would never touch Floyd Mayweather, okay? Never. Just would never touch Floyd Mayweather. Floyd might not hurt Logan, but Logan ain't going to touch Floyd. That's for goddamn sure. That's just for sure. Anyway, that's what I got. So subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Oh, let me just also say this, okay? Conor McGregor would dirt nap Jake Paul in 52 milliseconds, okay? Boxing, MMA, it doesn't matter. Boxing, whatever, Jake Paul would have nothing for Conor McGregor. I just want to make that fucking perfectly clear. Nothing. Anyway, but I think he might beat Dylan Dennis. Who knows? I don't know. Dylan Dennis would fucking annihilate him in MMA, though. I mean, annihilate him in MMA. Anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Peace.